traffic is clear now. Foot on the accelerator, 1 foot on the clutch, the other foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, rest till 2500 RPM. Oh my god, this car does wheel spin, which is like... Hi guys, and welcome back to yet another vlog. Today we're driving this. Now this happens to be the Tata Tiago 2021 XE variant. Like, this is the base variant, and this gets a 1.2 liter petrol motor, as you might know, 3-cylinder one, produces around 85 bhp and all. So let's start up with the design first. The design looks really cute. I mean, just look at the way, like the earlier Tiago looked cute, but this one has a more dominant face with the grille, you know, being lowered down, so it lends a similar appearance to the you know, to the Altroz, to the Nexon for that matter. The new chrome element down there, which connects both the headlights, looks really cool, and this black garnish over here looks muscular as well. There are your fog lamp inserts. You get fog lamps on higher variants. However, this one, this is the lowest variant, so it does not get projector headlamps or the fog lamp setup. A lip spoiler sort of a thingy is also present on the lower part of the bumper, and it lends it a very aggressive stance. The Tiago rides on 14-inch wheels. 14-inch or 15-inch? Let's see. So these are 13-inch rims. The higher spec variants get 14 inches, and on the lower variants you don't get body colored mirrors, and you also get the indicator over here. But then on higher variants you have the turn indicator, which have electrically operated and foldable as well. Now in this variant you don't even get central locking, so you have to unlock all the doors by yourself, but that can be done pretty easily. And the noise from the door itself, the thud, is pretty solid. It doesn't look like this is a 5 lakh rupee car. Moving on to the rear, not much is visible. It's like it has been the same ever since it was launched way back in 2015. Now this is the fuel filler cap, and yeah, not much to talk about the side profile. It looks good, the proportions are neat. However, nowadays, like the Grand i10 Neos, this car, you know, they have a very similar side profile, so it's easier to confuse them for either. Now, a very neat or intricate detail on every Tiago present is this sort of a spoiler treatment. Of course, it's not a spoiler, but then it does, you know, lead to a reduced air drag coefficient, which is nice. Again, at the rear you've got your normal halogen lamp setup, reflector, which is reflector based, and you get a single reversing light, so that's where Tata has cut some costs. And you also get this fake lift spoiler treatment over there. So from the back, the Tiago does look pretty purposeful. However, no reflectors as such present over here. You get dual parking sensors though, which are of almost no use. I'll tell you why later on. Okay. Now this is the boot lid of the Tiago. On the higher spec variants you get a reversing camera over here as well. Opening the boot, you get a decently sized 250 liter boot space. I know it's a bit crowded at the moment, but then and the spare wheel is also the same size. You also get a parcel tray in rest of the variants, and the seats can be folded flat by you know, I mean, might take some time, but yeah, they can be folded flat by getting let go of the levers. So all in all, pretty nice, pretty decent boot space, and good amount of practicality as well. You've got a handle to hold on to in order to grab it down, and yeah, the build quality of the boot lid seems fine to me. So now, moving on to the rear. I mean, I'll get on from that side over here. This traffic is coming, so yeah. Moving on to the rear. I guess I locked the car up. Yeah. So, moving on. Sorry, guys. The door pad itself is pretty shallow. You get, you can only fit a half-liter water bottle over there, and this is like, I think it's tough to keep your knickknacks in there. So now we're in. This seat is like pushed all the way behind, and as you can see, there's not much space over here. You've got a bottle holder over there which can house a 1 liter bottle, and you've got manual mirrors. This is the base variant. However, in higher variants you do get power windows on all the 4 windows. Now the rear head restraints are not retractable, however the front ones are, which is a good thing. And yeah, the back seat space is pretty decent. I'll show you. The back seat space is pretty decent. Like there is a decent amount of headroom present, and the cabin does feel really airy and spacious. However, like taller individuals will, struggle with knee room and leg room a bit. But then, if you make a good compromise with the passenger sitting in the front, you may be able to, enjoy the journey a bit. Plus, you seated a bit lower, and since the issue with all Tata cars is that the seats are placed way above, like, yeah, I mean they're placed way higher than usual. So yeah, this one feels good to sit in. The seat cushioning is also quite nice. The seat base though is firm, and it will have a good impact on longer journeys. So yeah, that's about it in the rear. That's how the front dashboard looks like. So let's move on to the front. And yep, for those who like missed some information, this is the tweeter placement, and that is the speaker placement. And let me tell you this, Tiago has one of the best sounding infotainment systems, below 10 lakh rupees. So if you're an audiophile, do consider this car. Alright, so let's talk about what matters the most, and that is the front. Yeah, let's talk about the front first, and then we'll talk about the engines, what all has been offered in the car so far. Alright, so this is how the dashboard of the Tiago looks like. You've got your instrument cluster, the digital instrument cluster, which is also present in the Altroz and the Nexon. I mean the earlier Nexon. You start her up, there are no noises as such, which is like pretty nice. These are your aircon controls. These remain constant throughout, but this being the base variant does not even get a audio system, and your buttons for drive modes and all are also not present. So you can see this black empty panel over here. But let's talk practicality. The Tiago is a pretty practical car. You've got dual cup holders over here, a small place to keep your knickknacks, wherein in higher variants you can keep the key fob over here. You've got a decent sized space for keeping your mobile phone. Now these ports are for USB outlet, and the other one is for auxiliary input. That's for higher variants. Of course, you've got a 12-volt charging socket, and the dashboard gets a the glove box opening gets a dampened operation, which seems really premium. And as with all Tata cars, you get a recess over here to keep your stuff. I'll let you focus a bit here. A recess over there. Higher variants get the glove box cooling function as well. So yeah, higher variants do a pretty value for money. And yeah, the door pockets though, that is my only complaint. Only one bottle can fit in there, and they're pretty shallow and narrow as well, so not of much use. But then hey, the Tata Tiago itself is not a really big car. Alright, now this is the sunshade, and you don't really get a mirror or a light, same as the case here as well. You do get a ticket holder though, and yeah, you've got manually retractable and adjustable mirrors. Higher variants, as I mentioned, do get a better setup of electrically foldable ORVMs, and yeah, so that's there. Now there's a small recess to keep your stuff over there. And yeah, the steering wheel also, this is a base variant mind you, but it is adjustable for both, not for both, but then it is adjustable for for rake. Yeah, you can adjust it for rake. That's nice. And that's the stoplight button. These are the aircon vents. The aircon performs decently well, and aircon has never been a problem in Tata cars. The likes of the Indica had decent aircons. Safari though did have a problem. Now let's check the gauge cluster. So you've got your dual trip meters over there, which shows you the trip speed. Then the distance to empty is also shown over there. This is the instant fuel economy. This is your speed, and the time, I mean, yeah, it is 12:01 a.m. but then I am somewhere in parallel earth, so yeah, somewhere in parallel space, I mean. So yeah, at 12:01 a.m. we have lots of sunlight over here. Well, the graffiti on the walls looks nice, so I guess you guys might have noticed this. But yeah, change of location, I'll tell you later on where I am. So yeah, and that's about it. It also gets dual airbags and ABS as standard, and as a matter of fact, this car is rated at 4 stars in safety rate in the Euro NCAP test, which is like in the global NCAP test, which is like really commendable job, because this car it just weighs 930 kilos, and even then it has a stable body shell, it has strong panels, and yeah, it performs really well on those fronts. You might have seen a lot of videos involving the Tata Tiago in accidents, but then you might have never seen the Tiago itself in a dilapidated state, but then others do become once this car hits something. Yeah, so let's open the engine bay, talk about the engines, and then let's go for a short spin. Alright, so let's check the engine bay of the car, and this car is running on, where is the clip now? Wait, let me. The struggle to find the clip never ends, yeah? Now, how should I open this thing? I don't think the latch is working, guys. I am sorry, but then yeah, I don't think the latch is working. Oh, it is, sorry. Yeah. So there we have it. This is the 1.2 liter Revotron engine. Produces around 85 bhp and 113 newton meters of torque. Now, as you can see, that somewhere, that is Fiat India. So yeah, a lot of part sharing between Tata Cars and the Fiat. I mean the SAE Corporation is still happening, but then yeah, you can see this is the engine bay, pretty huge, you know, for such a small car, and the engine bay is pretty filled, unlike Maruti cars, which is like, you know, damn, they're empty. Yeah, you've got that battery placement over there, and let's talk about specs. So the Tiago is now offered only in a single petrol engine variant, and CNG variants are available as well. This car produces around 85 bhp and 113 newton meters of torque. Earlier on, the Tiago also got the option of a 1.2 liter diesel motor that was produced by Tata in-house, and it used to produce around 70 horsepower and around 120 newton meters, 120 or 125 newton meters of torque. Now that engine was great for efficiency. This car, this engine is like so-so, but then yeah, it still manages to perform decently well. The Tiago also got the option of a 1.2 liter turbo petrol motor, which used to produce around 115 bhp and had 170 newton meters of torque. That Tiago was known as the Tiago JTP, or the JN Performance, makers, who had a Triumph, who had a collab with Tata Motors, but things didn't work out well, and this collab was aborted. But that Tiago and the Tigor as well, both of them performed really well, clicking in 100 kilometers an hour in under 10 seconds. Handling is pretty sorted as well. So yeah, let's now move on to the driving experience, and I'll tell you what it is like to drive a Tata, a small Tata, or the cheapest Tata that is on sale in India right now. Let's now start with the driving experience of the Tata Tiago. Now, bells on, and let's drive. Into first. Initially, you will notice that the Tiago feels a bit lethargic off the start. Now, even with 85 bhp on tap, that's because of the 3-cylinder, nature. However, once you get moving, the vibrations settle down, and everything becomes much more smoother. There you can feel a few vibrations on the gear knob itself, which is like crazy, considering that this car is just a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder motor and it vibrates like the gearbox did in a Safari or a Scorpio of the older times. The vibrations aren't that harsh, but then you can notice a few things when the car is like idle, or even in fact when you change gears, you can feel some vibes on the on your hands or your palms. So that's there. Now talking about the car itself, the Tiago handles pretty well. The steering wheel weighs up according to speed, which is like a great thing. And it is really easy to twirl in traffic. It is like the lightest steering I've ever seen in a small car. It's like really light, but then as you begin to build up speed, the steering weighs up nicely. It doesn't have a lot of feel at the center, but it is still better than the steerings offered from either of Maruti or Hyundai. Now, considering that this is a Tata, we expect it to ride very well, and boy does it not. The car is so silent over bumps that you can't even feel the road surfaces you're going over. It smoothens out every lip, every loop, every each undulation on the road, and it does so in a manner that you would feel really comfortable, and it would give you the feel as if you're riding an SUV or something, because the ride quality is up to that level. The side tire side will also have an effect on that. So if you go for higher variants, you will definitely get better riding experience. Now, talking about the engine performance on power throttle, it behaves very nicely. The power delivery is very linear if you drive it sedately, and the concentration of the power is like when it's in the mid range. Like this definitely is turbo, but then in the next one, this SE engine is used as turbo motor. So once you really get going, what happens is that the motor itself performs really well. You just needed to give it a bit of a push, and once it enters its power band, that is around above 2000 RPM, the motor behaves really well. Now, the 0 to 100 timings for the car are like, it takes around 13-14 seconds, but that is because of the initial lag that exists in the car, which can definitely change over time. But then for that you need to know how the car responds on part tilted or perhaps even full throttle. And once you get to know that, the Tiago is a pretty cumbersome free drive. The gearbox is smooth shifting. The clutch is itself really very light. However, one thing that I wish Tata would have improved is that the pedals, they look a bit more forward set. In fact, the dead pedal is like on a separate space, and your knee, now that I have placed my leg over on that surface, it is like going. I mean, my leg is almost touching the steering wheel. So that's about it. A few ergonomic issues here and there, like the seat height being too high, and this being the base variant does not get adjustable seat height, so I have to recline my seat a bit in order to find that perfect driving position. But then the car in itself is pretty nice. The feel from the stalks, everything feels well put together. However, there are certain areas where finish could have been better. Like the lower half of the dashboard is like finished in hard plastic, and it does not feel really good to touch or good to feel. Yeah, so few little necks here and there. However, the performance on the highways is pretty solid. The car behaves decently well, and let me show you the way it handles over road surface. Now, if as I'm in the first gear, you might be able to notice a few vibrations that might have cropped up, and you would be able to feel them with it. That's how the car behaves when you try and floor it, and it has that turbo whine in it. So yeah, that's there. But then the turbo whine is reminiscent of a few things. And that's how an auto also sounds when you like push it hard, and I find it pretty odd. But then this car is like pretty decent for what it is. It is a good commuter. It is definitely it has definitely good build quality. However, finish is something which needs to be taken care of. It has good safety, and it has a lot of features, and it also has perhaps the best sounding infotainment system that you can find south of 10 lakh rupees. So all in all, a pretty decent car. However, I wish Tata could have given it a bit more oomph and definitely improve the automatics, because Tata's automatics, they feel really very jerky. I'm talking about the AMTs for that matter, but then they do feel really very jerky once they start shifting. And the problem in this city, is that it's not really a problem. But what I feel is that the red lights are really really long, and for that matter, I'll just switch off the car for a while and let's sit silently. The car itself behaves decent in a very decent and efficient manner, and yeah. Sorry guys, first but then yeah. So all in all, a pretty decent car, and we'll just quickly go and I'll show you how this car behaves on speed, and then we'll end the video and all. That's all. Yeah. But a major problem with Tata, cars is that their after-sales service, which is like on the verge of improving. But even then, it's like they're pretty lethargic in the way they treat their customers. Now, whether it be a new customer or one who comes for service, do treat them well, and that's what needs to change. However, the rest of the things have really improved. The products are really really good. The entry point to the Tata range is the Tiago, and it does impress a lot. It does try to punch above its weight, and that punch is not a punch or a pun, whatever it is. But then yeah. However, a more practical option today would be to go for the Tata Punch, because it offers you higher ground clearance, big car feel, and a few more features here and there. But then the Tiago is something which really transformed Tata's fortune, and ever since this car has been long on sale, it has never disappointed. It does leave a mark for a good. It has like really improved the way people start perceiving Tata, and that is the reason for perhaps the success of the Harrier and the Safari and the Gravitas. And yeah, the newer products have all gotten somewhere or the other. It's been not inspiration, but then somewhere or the other, the Tigor and the Tiago have been responsible for that uplifting Tata's image. So that's there. Now behaving on. I'm talking about speed. I'm currently doing 450 in third gear, and the car is behaving really well. It responds really well to part throttle inputs, and you can gobble up kilometers. You can cover up with a good pace, and the handling is very very decent. It's nothing too bad to complain about. But yeah, the steering could do with a bit more feel. It is here that the Swift feels a lot more gauge, I would say, but then yeah, it being lighter does translate into some things which we really shouldn't talk about, because otherwise Maruti fanboys would tell me why am I calling the Swift a tin can. No offense, Swift owners, but yeah, the truth be told. However, yeah. Now this is like a bus corridor or something. You might know which city I am in. Yeah. So that's all for now, I guess, guys. And tried doing everything in the car. Plus, there are not a lot of wind noise or road noise. Yeah, a bit of it is like audible, but then the car is like really silent if you turn up the music volume a bit, and yeah, it does behave really well on the road. Alright, guys, thank you for watching. And I'll be regularly uploading my vlogs now. So, yeah, 3-4 vlogs would be lined up, so they'll be out pretty soon. But till then, be happy, be safe, and travel safely, wear your seatbelts, follow all the traffic rules. Alright, guys, this is YCG signing off. But just before that, let's try and do a wheel spin if this does. I'm not sure because the car is pretty short in the way it drives. But then yeah, let's try and floor it for once. Okay, so the traffic is clear now. Foot on the accelerator, one foot on the clutch, the other foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, left still, 2500 RPM. Oh my god. This car does wheel spin, which is like, okay, nice. Second gear is good for around 50 kilometers an hour, and that's about it. We've reached the end of the road. Let's take a U-turn, and yeah. Alright guys, so thank you for watching. The car is like pretty decent, man. Okay, 80 in third gear, so that's the top speed of the car. Other than that, very decent vehicle all around. And yeah, bye bye guys, thank you for watching, I'll catch up with you guys in the next vlog. Till then, bye bye. And yeah, take care, drive safe, and keep watching your car guide. No reviews to be out. Thank you guys.